Hi everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from the Mail Fuzz Network. I'm Peter, and joining me as always is Matt.
Trying to think of Batman's catchphrase, but I don't think he has one. He just Irish goodbyes everybody.
Uh,
So
I think the closest he has to a catchphrase is, I'm Batman!
yeah, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I could have said I am Gotham, but that didn't work either.
Well, now that there's a character called Gotham, that's completely fucked.
Yeah,
Well, do you mean Batman, or do you mean
yeah,
Gotham? Because,
exactly.
it could be either. Uh,
Yep.
Anyway, we talk DC Comics here, and every week we talk all about pretty much all of DC's comics, comic books, those things. The
Yeah.
floppies that we've. Well, I mean, I'm digital now, so it's not floppy to me.
Yeah.
It's pretty hard. I mean, for the people who listen to the audio version, I'm waving my iPad at the camera.
Yeah.
Um,
And if you flop your iPad, things have gone very wrong.
yeah,
So
it's time to replace it if it's going floppy.
yeah.
Well, that said, though, they are getting really into bendable screens, and
Yeah.
phones and all that now. So who knows? Maybe the next iPad will be floppy.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we're usually joined as well by Connor, but Connor is moving house. We mentioned this last week. He's without internet for the week. Plus, last time he had to miss a week, he sent me some opinions and his ranking for the week. He didn't even do that this week because he's moving house and he's not even had time to read everything because he's moving beds and building furniture and whatever else you do when you move house.
Yeah.
But mostly he's just upset that he has no internet for nearly a full week, which honestly
Oh,
does sound like living hell to me.
it does, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
I get upset when I can't hook up to the Wi-Fi when I go somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if you're someone whose entire reliance from, I mean, I have a lot of Blu-rays, so I'm fine. But if your
Yeah.
entire movie reliance is on things like Netflix and Amazon and whatever other streaming service, you're done.
Yep.
You got nothing. But yeah, so no Connor. If you're on the video version, I have replaced Connor's face with something much more useful. It is a nice advertisement and link to our other channel that does all the movie stuff, which I'm mentioning specifically this time because, of course, Suicide Squad came out today at the time of recording, and
Yep.
come Sunday night, our full review, our full spoiler discussion of that will be up. At the time of recording, I've seen the movie, Matt hasn't, but come Sunday, we're going to record a video also with a
Yep.
couple of other people. And the Batman v Superman one, it probably won't go as long as that, but the Batman v Superman one went for 2.5 hours because we had so much to talk about.
I
So
was fired up.
yeah, we were raring to go with that one. So if you like us talking about DC Comics and you want to hear us mail spoiler alert for our thoughts on the movie, hate the shit out of this thing, then go check that out. If you like the movie, then probably if you like the movie and don't care for opposite opinions, I'd probably stay away from it honestly. But that'll be up on Sunday night, so quick plug for that. And yeah, make sure there's a link for the Batman v Superman one, which again was a 2.5 hour hate fest because we all despised it with.
Well, then you don't have to agree with us, but that movie is garbage. Um, it's not even because they mess up the characters. The movie's not well put together.
Oh no, it's a,
So
it's, it's a mess, but
yeah, so
I always like to preface that because if you like the movie, and you don't want to just hear
yeah,
people bitch on it for 2 hours, then I get that.
exactly.
You
But
know,
don't come expecting us to go, hey. But the bright side is because there was no bright side as far as we were concerned.
no, hey,
So
wait a minute. Alfred was pretty spot on. There was one, there was one thing in that entire movie that was right, and that was Alfred.
eh, sure. But anyways,
Yeah, comics. We're here to talk about comics. Happier things as of late.
well, this week, eh,
Well, no,
uh,
this week's still mostly happy. It's just I'm banging the table. Sorry, guys.
it's okay. Pete's a passionate man.
Yeah, I'm being passionate this week. So yeah, this week we'll be talking about the following books. We have, in terms of new books, we have Suicide Squad Rebirth issue 1. They timed that particularly well.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
Really well. That is even in the past they've not timed a new book to launch the same week as a movie. They've hit the month before maybe. This is eerily. But anyway, Suicide Squad Rebirth issue 1, Harley Quinn issue 1, also nice timing. Batman issue 4, Superman issue 4, Justice League issue 2, Nightwing issue 2, Green Arrow issue 4, Green Lanterns issue 4, and Aquaman issue 4 to round up things. So that's coming in the show. There's no news, so we're going to get straight into it, and we're going to tackle Suicide Squad Rebirth Issue 1, which is written by Rob Williams and art by Philip Tan. And this was a Rebirth issue. It set things up. We got some backstory. It's basically just... well, first of all, Amanda Waller goes to see the president. She goes to see Obama.
Yeah, which that's like... I have two thoughts when you do that, because in the future, you're really time-stamping it.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Like this is also a universe that, well, maybe not this universe, but it's a universe that has had Lex Luthor as president, so, like, can't you just make one up?
Honestly, yeah, I would rather they made a president up. I know Marvel always do this where they have real presidents, because I feel like I've seen that a lot more in Marvel, but... honestly, I feel like the next time one of these books has a president, they're probably going to forget they did this and just make one up anyway.
Well, that's it. Like, I feel an Aquaman, because that deals with the White House, the last two issues. Like, we get the press secretary, and I can guarantee you it's not the same, like, real-life press secretary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the one upside here is that Obama will not be president for much longer, so,
yeah.
Either they go with whoever's next, or that almost makes me want Trump to win, just so we can see Trump.
No, don't! What?
I'm kidding, folks. I'm kidding. Seriously, don't vote Trump. Do not vote Trump. Whatever you do in life, do not vote Trump.
Don't forget there's two third parties. Alright? They'll gladly accept your vote, but let's not put that in the universe.
Yeah. Don't vote Trump. Please, for the love of...
I'm pretty sure if there was a squad, they might be coming after him.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, so she gets approval for her Suicide Squad and gets Rick Flag. Interesting how we've got the movie line up here, mostly coming into this. And it's basically, the issue is basically her convincing Rick Flag to lead the Suicide Squad as the good person, as the the one who can lead them because he's an actual good guy and a soldier, and not a criminal. It sets up that they've got their their bombs implanted in their necks and all that. So in terms of the actual squad, we only get Harley, Deadshot, and Boomerang in this issue, unless I'm forgetting someone at the end, but I'm pretty sure it's just them.
Just as is.
And they're trying to save some scientist dude who they end up like he's getting pulled away, and Deadshot decides to... No, actually, no, it's Boomerang, actually, who...
It's Boomerang.
Yeah, he throws a boomerang to cut off the guy's arms, because they need to keep this in the case. The case is what's important. But they let the guy die, which, again, is a really cynical,
It's just, it doesn't feel like it matched the rest of the Rebirth universe that we've gotten thus far. This still feels very much like New 52. For its worst aspects, with the shadowy government programs and whatnot. And there was the one thing I did like is early on it has the descriptions of them, like, as captions, which I liked, because it let you know who each of the characters of the squad was really quick. Like, we didn't have to dive into these, like, origin stories of them, which was cool.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't love this. I didn't even particularly like it, but I didn't dislike it either. I thought it was, like, it was perfectly fine. Like, I think if you want a Suicide Squad book, this is an okay start. It didn't put me off. Like, I'm definitely, like, this is the Rebirth issue. I'm definitely wanting to try issue 1 to see, see if it's better, see where it's going, what it's like. I didn't think the art was particularly great. I thought it was a wee bit too... it
was very spotty in parts. Like, Harley looks really, like... Her face looks out of proportion. Like, sometimes it looks like a doll's face.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. And, I mean, I like the structure of the book. I like that it cut between the mission and, like, Waller convincing Rick Flag to take the mission. And then, of course, Rick Flag, so we cut back to the mission and Rick Flag comes storming in to, like, help and save the day or whatever. I thought it read well enough. Like, I thought it flowed well. I thought it... This is maybe spoiling what I think of the next book we're going to talk about, but I read this after Harley Quinn, and this benefited a lot from being read after Harley Quinn, because this flowed well enough and it read like a comic book, and at the end, I got through it quick enough, and I would like to enjoy Suicide Squad. I'm not, like, when it comes to comic book heroes, I am very much into the heroes, and the villains. I like the villains as what they are for the heroes and antagonists, but
Yeah.
I've never been someone who follows the villain series. Whenever they announce, Sinestro book, or over at
Yeah.
Marvel they have the Venom book or whatever, like I've always just like, it's not for me, you know.
Yeah, the only person I get hyped for when they do is Lex Luthor, because I feel like in his head he is the hero, so you can treat him as such. I don't get that vibe with any of these versions, like Harley and Boomerang and Deadshot. Like, I had read Secret Six. That's how I was introduced to Deadshot, and I feel like they've just throw a mask on Deadshot, and that's like his defining character trait now.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to me that drew me into these characters that I want to read more about them.
Admittedly, I haven't read Secret Six. I know Blasphemy. It's one of my holes from my DC past that I need to fill.
Yeah, but you've read Brian Q. Miller's Batgirl, so that makes up for everything.
Oh hell yes, I love that book.
So,
But as I understand it, that book at least gradually turns them into more anti-heroes as it goes on, and they become sympathetic. Yep. And I feel like that's what you kind of want to do with Suicide Squad. But I think to do that, you have to be smart with what villains you're putting on the team, because they can't be ones that you want to use as villains again. Really, you have to commit to making them more sympathetic. They don't have to become like goody two shoes by any means, but they can be a bit more heroic. And I'm not so sure I really see Harley Quinn becoming that, or and I know the 52 book had her become more of an anti-hero. I never read that, so fair enough. But personally, I don't really see Harley Quinn as being that. So, sorry.
Well, no, and that's why I always thought it was a mistake to put her in, because this is, Harley wasn't in the Suicide Squad until the New 52. Like, it was always made up of like C-listers, like Captain Boomerang, like who got fed up, trying to take down the Flash, and just takes this. He'll let them put a bomb in his neck if he, gets out of the prison. And Flag was their sort I'm looking for it, like handler. And here I feel like they've wanted names, so that's why they threw Harley in there. And to me it's not the traditional Suicide Squad anymore, because I don't feel any of these characters are expendable. Like, that's what you want in a Suicide Squad.
Yeah, you don't feel like any of them could die, especially. And you always know that if they do put a team together for the first time, there's always that one guy that's like really obscure, and he's just there so that he can prove that the bomb works. Like, that's his purpose, and it always happens. So I mean, but like I said, I don't think this was bad by any means. I just think it I'm not overly sold on it yet, and I don't know if I will be. But I think if you like the idea of Suicide Squad, I don't think there was anything wrong with it.
No, and that's the thing. I think it's an acquired taste, and it's just not one that I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still gonna go on with the first issue, because I do want to see the team dynamic more.
Yeah.
Where at least here, unlike Red Hood and the Outlaws, we got the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, because if this was like Red Hood and the Outlaws, it'd have just been Rick Flag or just Deadshot for an issue.
Right, and so here we got to see them a little bit, and I mean, they act like a team, but I want to see who else. Like, Killer Croc was in all the promos, standing with Harley. I want to see how he winds up there. Yeah,
it's basically going to be the movie team once it's all done. I actually quite like that they started with a smaller batch of them, though. Like, starting with just 3, I think it's a good idea, and then you can introduce the rest, like, gradually.
Right, and they were holdovers from New 52, I think, too, because they were... I know Deadshot and Harley, because they were there from day one in 2011 when it relaunched, so I'm not sure about Boomerang, but I know for sure those two were. But yeah, I don't know. Part of me wants to say it's also the worst of the Rebirth books, just because it's so unlike any of the other ones.
Now, when you say worst of the Rebirth books, do you just specifically mean the Rebirth one-shots?
Yes, just the one-shots. Because the other ones seem to more set up. Like, this does some setup, but not on the level, like... I feel like this could be a pocket universe. I don't feel like anything they're doing is interacting with anything else. Like we saw in Red Hood, we saw him interact with Batman, and saw how very much he's going to play in here in the universe. This was just none of that. It was basically a prelude story. So
Yeah, no, fair enough. So that's Suicide Squad. Not too hot on it, but certainly there's nothing wrong with it by any means. So if you like the idea of Suicide Squad, you want to read Suicide Squad, I think
yep.
you'll be okay with it. Art's a little bit rough here or there, but you know. Uh, so that's the first of the two new books we got this week. The other one was Harley Quinn issue 1. And the funny thing with Harley Quinn issue 1 is that this didn't have a rebirth. This just went straight to issue 1. And holy shit, it could have used a rebirth issue, because this basically just continued whatever the previous series was. At least I'm assuming it did, because I felt like I was thrown into the middle of a run.
Yep, because this was Harley Quinn issue 31. You know?
Yeah, basically. Because
And
I, other than Harley, and I guess Poison Ivy, who's in the first few pages,
yeah,
I had no idea who anyone was.
me neither. I didn't know why the guy had tools as his thought bubbles or his speech bubbles rather.
No,
I
I didn't
don't
know.
I don't know why there's a guy with a Danzig tattoo. And I don't this is I know you didn't like this book more than I didn't like it,
Yeah.
but how you felt about Suicide Squad is how I feel about this. Is the people that are gonna keep reading this, I think, are already invested, because this is not a good jumping on point.
Oh no, no, sure. I mean, if you like the previous 30 issues, yeah, I
Yeah,
think it's the same team, or at least the same
yeah,
writers as well,
yep.
at least the last batch of issues. So, like, if you like that, I'm sure you'll continue liking it, and that's
Hmm.
fine. Great, you've got it. I have no interest in taking it away from you. It's not
Yeah,
like if this was like, I don't know, Batman or Nightwing or Supergirl, like I'd be annoyed because I want one that I like. With Harley, I don't really need a Harley book, so yeah, sure, have your Harley book and enjoy it. I'm
yeah.
not going to take it
But
away
I
from you.
also see. I have a traditionalist view of Harley as Paul Dini, Bruce Timm, Harley. And I know characters are allowed to evolve over time and whatnot, but it just feels like she's DC's Deadpool
Oh
in
yeah, that's what
this.
it feels. No, absolutely, I agree with that. They
So
they are going for their version of Deadpool, like so much with this, And again, going back to stuff that I don't know why this is here. Like I don't know that she owned a club, or she runs a club. Like this is news
I
to
didn't
me.
either. Last I heard, she was on a roller derby team, and they show up, you know. But here she's running a boardwalk in Coney Island, and has a wax museum, and has a like a what else was there? A burlesque theater.
Yeah, and
Like it's so quirky. Like it needs to be wearing a fedora hat and drinking a craft beer. You know?
it's just so like I first and foremost, I had actually trouble getting through this. There was a
Mhm.
point maybe about 8 pages in where I was like, "Oh God, how much of this is left?" And I checked like what page I was on. I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not even halfway." Like that was how I felt reading this. Like I was struggling to get through the pages. I felt like there was so much like dialogue,
Yep.
and I wasn't really enjoying the dialogue. And yeah, it doesn't really feel like Harley. At least not the Harley that I know. Like, and I'm not. Yeah, again, it's not like characters can't evolve, but
Right.
like she has this weird moral code now, whereas to me Harley is insane
Right.
and is quite happily to kill people. Like I don't know. I just like if you like this book, then great, that's fine. I had like there was only one moment in this entire book I liked. There was one joke that made me smile.
Which was
It was the alien landing and thinking the cows must be the head of the planet because they have 4 legs, and
right.
then the farmers or whatever the cattle ranchers come to
Right.
mince them and kill them for beef, and just the aliens' horror of going, oh God, what's happening, oh my God, no, and that being the
Right.
cause of the zombie outbreak.
Outbreak. Yeah.
That made me laugh. Just the alien being like horrified that he's being
What's
murdered.
what they're doing to the cows?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that
And then he's next in line because he took the wrong form.
yeah. So
Um,
that made me laugh because that was so outrageous. But that was completely standalone. That could have been in anything almost.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was the origin of the Skull Kill Crew from Marvel in like the 70s, 80s. is there was a stupid story where they had tricked these scrolls into being thinking they were cows, so they shapeshift, and then those cows get turned into hamburger meat, and these people eat them and end up with superpowers. Okay, we're talking about 70s, 80s, not
Quality.
yeah the 2010s. So it's like, all right, cool. I guess if you like this book, great. I'm happy for you, but this is my first and last foray into this, unless I see her don the black and reds with the jingle bells on them.
Um, there's even a guy who shows up in this that looks like Deadpool.
Yeah, he's the toolbox guy.
That's right. Yeah, he's the one who's all these speech bubbles are in toolbox shape.
Yeah. Which I'm sure there's a reason for it, but I don't care enough to know what the reason is.
Yeah, I mean, the art's fine. Like,
Yeah. Oh, that's always the thing. I mean, Palmiotti and Connor, those books always look good.
yeah,
So
I don't know. To me, Harley's voice just wasn't there. I didn't hear Harley's voice as I was reading this.
no, and they really play up the Brooklyn thing too, and they play with her speech like it's they're writing in dialect. It doesn't it. I am a fan of dialect, and because we'll talk about that in Superman, because Bibbo makes an appearance, and there in small doses I think it works, but when it's coming up in like every other speech bubble,
Yeah,
it gets a little annoying. So I mean, if you did your job writing it properly, we'll hear the voice. And for most of us in a certain age range, it's gonna be the Tara Strong Harley voice.
yeah. So no, I'm kind of down on it. Like, I have no interest in reading issue 2. I struggled to finish this one, so it's an instant drop for me. I dislike this more than Red Hood Rebirth.
Oof. Well,
So
that's heavy.
I hate to be harsh, but just not for me. If you like it, then great. All power to you. Rock on. You can keep your Harley Quinn book and let it run for 500 issues if you want. I will be ignoring it quite happily. All right,
Yep.
that'll take us on to Batman issue 4, written by Tom King and art by David Finch. I just realised I forgot to tell you who did Harley Quinn. My bad.
Yeah.
Harley Quinn was written by Amanda Conner and Jimmy Palmiotti, and art was by Chad Hardin.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Batman issue 4, Tom King, David Finch. And we've been enjoying this. It's been very steady, very consistent, but just gradually getting better as well. Just a nice steadiness. We really liked issue 3. Issue 4, I also really enjoyed. I thought the idea that Psycho Pirate, who we seen at the end of the last issue, has fucked, basically, Gotham, and turned him into a homicidal Superman.
Yeah, because that's a trope we've never seen before.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do I detect salt? Did you not enjoy this?
It's just here's my thing. I think this is a Tom King issue. I feel so much happens off panel and in between issues. Like, it makes me feel that I've left something. Like, I would have liked to seen the Psycho Pirate in Gotham, or flashes of it. And instead, we get dropped right into the middle of this room where I couldn't tell if that was Gotham Girl. Like, I put it together after, a page. But I'm thinking this is just another case.
Oh no, I got it was Gotham Girl. I actually kind of liked that jump. Because they kind of, because at first I'm like, wait, who did this? What happened? And, it was like, it slowly built and filled in. Like, it was Gotham and he's went crazy. We got another Suicide guy with the Monster Men are coming.
That's the stuff I'm enjoying the most, is the whole Monster Men subplot, because it's one panel, one page here and there, and that's how comics, that's how I came up reading comics, with Jeff Johns' Flash. So I like that they're playing, down the line. And it's not just the one story right now with Gotham and Gotham Girl. It's the coming of the Monster Men. So that's cool. But yeah, just the I don't know. I think the salt's still fresh in the wound from Batman versus Superman. So I don't want to see Batman versus a super being again. Like
Oh,
I
come
was
on,
hoping this wouldn't
it's not the
go
same
that direction.
thing.
It's not the same thing, but the beats are similar, and I know it's not gonna do the same thing, you know. And I do like when Batman does confront Gotham, you know, that he's trying to talk him down. He's actually being proactive in it. Um,
Yeah,
so
he's doing it, going about it the right way.
and
But by the
and
way,
there's proper humor too,
I
because
was just going to mention one of the
yeah,
jokes I liked
yeah,
when Alfred offers Gotham Girl coffee and she
yeah,
wakes up screaming, going, "No, no, no!" Obviously
yeah,
talking about something completely different, and Alfred
right,
just cracks out, "Perhaps tea then."
yeah,
No, no, that cracked me up. No, I like how dangerous Psycho Pirate is. Obviously, a big part of the issue, other than Batman going to try and talk him down when he's trying to rebuild the bridge
hmm
and getting the Batmobile wrecked, is Batman, tracking down Amanda Waller
yeah.
and General Lane. And by the way, humor again.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, so Batman, or so G- General Lane and Amanda Waller are sitting discussing that Batman might be like coming after them. He might have put two and two
Oh,
together and realised that they're involved. And General Lane's like, no, no, we're like, 50 feet underground. We have the best security defenses in the world. He'll never get in here. It'll
he'll
never
never
happen.
get in here.
Yeah.
Oh.
General Lane, the Batman standing behind you right now.
And then Batman
It's...
proceeds to throw him into the wall.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
he's not amused.
no, because Lane pulls his sidearm on him. You know, and Batman deals with it. I like that. That was
I think it also helps that General Lane's always a dick.
yeah.
And
No matter what.
every comic, every TV show, everything I've ever seen him in, he's always a dick.
Yep.
So Batman throwing his head against the wall is just kind of uplifting and you
Yep.
know. Uh, but yeah, so no, really nice conversation at them, and Waller kind of blames Batman for all these like various, all the metahumans and all the stuff in Gotham, and it goes down to all that stuff. Now, and then Batman tracks down Gotham to his parents' house, and his parents have been killed. Gotham's parents, specifically.
Yep.
And the issue ends with Gotham snapping the neck of one of the soldiers.
Yeah, because it was the soldier that had
Yeah.
killed his parents because he had survived and had snapped a picture of Gotham and Gotham Girl because Gotham took off his mask or cowl, whatever he wears.
Yeah.
That's another thing I liked is that Batman, you know, breaking it down, and he's not like spoon feeding us as the audience how this had happened. It's Batman telling Gotham like he knows what happened. He wasn't even there. And he's like, you know, the mask gets sweaty and itchy, and you took it off to cool off, and he wasn't dead and snapped a picture. I like that. You know. The other thing I like too is how he's describing how they're different. As Batman tells him, you know, I go down with the plane, you lift the plane out of the sky. You know.
Yeah. Um, no, I think it's a really powerful ending because it's like this weird thing where Batman can relate to what's just happened to him, but Gotham immediately crosses the line, and now Batman's got to deal with them. Like it's
Yep.
just it's on now. Like he has to deal with them because he
Yep.
can't let him just go around killing people. Um, and that's your cliffhanger. So it's a very simple issue, but there's a couple of really great standout scenes in there, and it gets things going. Art's pretty consistent with what came before. I think there's maybe a couple of spotty moments, um, but pretty much everything we've said about Finch's art with this series so far pretty much
hmm
continues forward. So no, that's Batman issue 4. Really, I think once we hit issue 3, I think that series has hit a nice consistent stride for me.
Yep.
So now looking forward to the next issue. So that'll take us on to Superman issue 4, which is written by Peter J. Tomasi and art by Patrick Gleason. And this picks up straight up where the last one ended,
hmm
more or less. And the Eradicator, Superman are thrown down, and John, like Lois is try to calm John down, saying that he's got the best of both worlds and all that.
Yep.
And John has his epic moment, probably one of the standout moments for both of us, I think, is him using his heat vision to put Crypto's cape on as his new cape.
Yep. And zipping up his, dollar store or his secondhand Superman jacket. Yeah. And then he goes to help his dad. And that splash page is fantastic.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a nice big 2-page splash. We got both of them punching, one on either side. It is really a thing of beauty. Now, this is where the issue gets a bit weird, though. Because...
Was not expecting this at all.
No, Eradicator basically, explodes, and all the trapped, souls of, Krypton and various other places, but the looks of it, all sort of start pouring out. And, it carries Superman and Superboy... And Lois as well, actually. Does it carry Lois? Yeah, it carries Lois. It carries everyone. And they all get carried to a bar just outside of Metropolis. Mm-hmm. And you know more about this other character. There you go, Matt. You tell us about...
So, Bibbo is this really blue-collar guy that lives near Suicide Slum. I can't remember if he lived in Suicide Slum or not. In Metropolis. And he's, Superman's biggest fan. And we haven't seen him for a while. I can't recall him showing up in the New 52. But he shows up here, and he's got a, shrine in his bar to Superman. And when you were introduced to him, he's talking with a guy about the death of the New 52 Superman. So, it's weird that they're playing with the continuity like that, because if he was the biggest fan and he was close with Superman, why didn't we see him earlier? But at this point, I don't care.
It doesn't really, he could have had a biggest fan without have seen him.
Yeah, but I just, there's pictures of them together and whatnot, and it really plays up to the old continuity, so I feel like he's going to play a bigger part once after this first arc gets situated. But yeah, so he's just this blue-collar guy that really looks up to Superman. He owns and runs this bar in a rough part of town. So, and we see him here. He's arm wrestling a guy from Gotham. Can't remember the guy's name. But, that was pretty cool introduction. But they end up at his bar and all the souls, which, again, are they souls? Are they data? Because...
Yeah, it's really weird. But obviously, the real surprising and touching moment that happens, and I'm sure pulled on a heartstring for you, was when one of the souls goes into Clark, and he gets a moment of advice, or a moment of time with Jonathan Kent.
Yep.
And it's people who don't get me wrong, Jonathan Kent was already dead when we got to New 52. He was already gone.
Yeah.
But as someone who thinks the parents are really important to Superman, because they are, and the way the New 52 kind of ripped them away at such a young age from Clark was really, really it was kind of unforgiving. It was basically the biggest thing right away that tainted the whole thing.
Well, yeah, and again, it came from Morrison's action, where it was, again, we know this through hindsight, but not at the time, that was supposed to be its own story about, Golden Age Superman, which that had happened.
Essentially an Elseworld.
Right, and so we haven't gotten to know Ma and Pa Kent in this universe, so we get to see Pa here, give Superman some advice, or not exactly advice, but some nice words of encouragement.
Yeah.
So, and it was a very touching moment, and you see, and this is always what shoots down the Kill Bill argument to me, where Bill tells Beatrix that Superman's the guy in the suit, not Clark Kent. Clark Kent's the costume. But when he goes and he's meeting Pa Kent here, he's dressed as Clark.
Oh yeah, he's the farm boy. Absolutely.
Yeah,
not even a question in my mind who he really is.
Yeah, so that was a nice touch, and just a really good scene. And I do like how they're playing with the Eradicator, and how the Eradicator wants Clark to remake Krypton. But Clark's not, like, yes, he's Kryptonian, but he's as much as Earth. Just like where Jonathan shares the human DNA, you know, I would say they're both equally from Earth, Superman and the Sun. Right? That was just me kind of rambling, trying to put the right words together. But so he's not gonna just go along with the Eradicator, be like, "Hey, we're starting Krypton. Come on, let's go."
Yeah, no, obviously. I think for me, some of the action in the issue was I mean, it wasn't bad, but I think it was better than last week. Not last week, but the last issue, but not as strong as issues 1 and 2 for me. Because I did have those nice moments with Paquette. It did have that great moment at the start with Jonathan putting on his cape and punching Eradicator side by side with Superman. There's also moments later on when he's using his heat vision to try and slow
Make
Eradicator
steam.
down. Yeah, he's making steam. Yeah, he's trying to slow him down while Superman's flying them away. And all this stuff's really fun. There's some good stuff here, and there's like the ghost or the data like talking to him, and Superman's the only one who can hear it. And the big cliffhanger at the end, of course, is that Superman puts Lois and John into a submersible and is flying them out to the moon.
Yep. Because why not?
Well, presumably that's where they're going to be safe.
Yep.
And of course, it gets the fight away from people as well.
Right, because that's what Superman does.
That is what Superman does.
But yeah, I thought it was still a pretty strong issue for all of that because it had the Eradicator stuff, and it looks like that's dealt with for now. But I wouldn't be surprised if Eradicator shows back up.
Yeah. I expect it would be. I feel because even the line of dialogue from the guy, he references the Terminator. He's like, that guy was like a super Terminator, and I've seen those movies. Right. That line alone is like, okay, he's getting back up. He's not down for the count. Superman's bought some time, and he's getting Lois and John to safety.
Yep.
On the moon of all places. That says, I mean, we are speculating a little bit because one of the things at the end here is, the final bit of contemplation where he says the Man of Steel's got a plan.
Yeah.
We don't really know what that plan is yet.
No.
We know he's thinking about something.
Yeah, if the Eradicator is still up and kicking, then he's going to want to get rid of John. So let's, get it away from Collateral. Mom's not going to leave it. But no, I just thought it was funny that there was a deep sea submersible just outside in the docks.
A little bit convenient.
That's designed to go to the deepest parts of the ocean.
Yeah.
Oh, man, if I had to talk to Tomasi, I'll ask him if that's a James Cameron thing. Because you got like kind of a Terminator reference.
That's true.
You got a deep sea submersible.
That is true. That is two Cameron things there back to back. It's worth mentioning as well. The art is gorgeous, as it has been consistently. So no change there. It was a solid issue. I thought there was some good action. Some of the whole like ghost thing was a little bit weird.
Yeah.
Like I felt a couple of times I had to almost go back a page and just sort of like, right, am I reading this right? Like, is this what's happening?
Yeah, you're reading them digitally, so maybe there was a glitch. For me, I thought maybe some pages got stuck together because when you pull them out of the bags and boards, sometimes the pages don't come all the way apart. So I had to go back and double check to make sure that wasn't the situation. But yeah, I mean, definitely wasn't expecting the souls of Krypton and whatnot.
That's a really high concept thing. Like, like you have to sort of wrap your head around because you're like, oh, right, this isn't normal. Right,
I would expect that in a Morrison comic, not so much a Tomasi and Gleason comic.
Yeah. But I like that we didn't get weird right away. We're really connected to these characters first, so it's...
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm enjoying it so much that I'm happy to see where it's going to go. Superman issue 4. Trucking on, as it were. Alright, so that's Superman. That'll take us on to Justice League issue 2. Written by Bryan Hitch and art by Tony S. Daniel. And I thought this was better than issue 1, which I thought was better than the Rebirth issue.
Yeah, I'm not enjoying it as much as you are. I do like that each of the team members they are acting like a team. Like each has a specific role. So
I,
you know,
I think, I mean, honestly, I don't need it to be anything special. I just kind of like that it feels epic, that the characters all get their moments. You know, some really, and obviously the art's really good. So that first two-page
yeah,
spread of uh, Jessica and Baz,
yeah.
you know,
Well,
putting like evacuating the city and all these like Green Lantern constructs and
of boats
yeah,
and ships. Yeah,
Zeppelin. I think one's a Zeppelin. That one looks like a
yeah,
Zeppelin to me.
yeah. No doubt, Tony Daniels' art's spot on. It's the story that I'm kind of like. I'm sure it'll read best as a trade, but as we're getting pieces by piece, I'm just kind of like, okay, cool. There's
See,
these weird orbs in the mantle.
see, I'm kind of okay with the pace just because it is every 2 weeks rather than monthly.
Also, it's not a pace thing. I just feel like the way that they're revealing the information, like from these started as a mystery, and now at the end of this, they're bombarding with more of the stuff that was it in Gotham, where Batman needed to yell for Flash to help.
Yeah. Actually, now that you mentioned that, I wanted to mention also that two-page layout with Flash running
Yeah,
around and grabbing everything, and like
it's
Batman just
great.
finishing his sentence like in the next panel. It's a
Yeah,
really nice touch. I like that.
yeah. There's good stuff in it. It's definitely not my favorite book so
Oh
far in
no,
these issues.
absolutely. Like I like as much as I am enjoying this for what it is. It's never going to be in my top like top three or top
Yeah.
like it's not breaking any ground. It's just kind of solid classic kind of generic Justice League story, but the art's really nice and
Yeah, and see that's where I get with the generic part where I'm just like, well, you could kind of put this in any era. Like it's not special to Rebirth, except for the
but the big thing I
characters.
think with this issue
Hmm.
is that they all sort of reconvene at the Watchtower and they talk about what's going on, and they realise that there's things in the deep in the Earth's crust that
That
they
have
have to
been
deal
there
with.
for ages.
Yeah, they must have been there the whole time and just can never detect them before. But
Right.
what I really like about this issue, because obviously they mentioned Superman in the last issue, is he's
Mhm.
helping doing stuff in other cities, but we're not going to involve him because he's this new Superman that we don't know. But I like that they came up with something here that only he can do, and I like how Wonder Woman just says at the end, we're going to need him. Like
Yeah.
just that's all she says, and you know who she means, and it's a really, really nice moment. Actually, it's Batman that says that. I do apologize, but I said Wonder Woman because it cuts to Wonder Woman's eyes afterwards in the next
Yeah.
panel, where because it's Batman and Wonder Woman who know him, that know that he exists. The rest of them
Right.
really don't.
Right.
So, um, but they show that look, and it's a really nice moment, which is how the comic ends as well. Um, we also get some of
It's
Aquaman dealing with the fact that Atlantis is basically wrecked, and we see some weird crystalloid being born in the water.
and it looks like it's made out of people. Like I'm just like,
Oh, so it
points.
does.
Yeah, points to Hitch for coming up with this off the wall stuff like that.
I
And
think,
the zodiac crystals
yeah.
that miraculously save Aquaman.
I think when I glanced at it, I thought it just looked sort of watery. Like I didn't actually
Yeah,
look. But now you said that, yeah, it's people.
yeah. There's people in there.
Huh.
So, but yeah, no, it's a big style story. And I just wish I cared more about what those orbs were. You know.
I don't think it's important. I really don't think it's important. I think this is a one arc story. They're going to deal with it, and it's going to be away.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Hitch has got some grand plan for a run where these things are going to lead to something big. Maybe they are. I don't know. But the issue ends with Batman coming to see Superman, and he says the line, "This is a job for Superman." Nice little touch. So
Yep.
yeah, like I say, I think the plot is nothing special, but I think it's been told well enough, and the characters are all in place, and there's a lot of those little nice touches where he's getting all the character interactions right, and this is a job for Superman, or
Yeah.
Flash running around and grabbing everything before Batman can finish his sentence. Just little things like that. There's enough in there. Like if this, say this was the movie we get, right? This is the Justice League movie we get.
I'd be stoked.
Yeah, this would be perfect. So
I guess instead of generic, you could say it's a basic Justice League story.
Yeah, it's just a dependable Justice League story, and I think that's fine.
That's fine. Like I'm not gonna drop it. I'm still gonna keep reading.
So. Yeah, I just think it's enjoyable. It's nothing groundbreaking, as I said. So, but that's Justice League. Sort of feeding out this story a little bit by bit, but including Superman's exciting. So, fun stuff. Next up, Nightwing issue 2, which is written by Tim Seeley and art by Javier Fernandez, which I thought was pretty fantastic. Nightwing again.
Yep.
Really hit it out of the park. So, Nightwing is dealing with the fact that he's got this new partner named Raptor, who is very arrogant, thinks he's better than Batman, thinks that Batman's taught Dick all wrong.
Yep.
Which is especially arrogant in the DC universe because Batman's Batman. And he's about as arrogant as you get. And now, obviously, I think part of my favourite stuff in this, again, was the interaction with Barbara Gordon. Because, come on. Like, I love that they're following through with this. And it's a thing. And it's a...
Yep. Well, she's a supporting character. I mean, she's been in 2 of the 3 issues. Right? Was she in the Rebirth?
She wasn't in Rebirth, but she was in issue 1.
Okay. Yeah. So, and I like that. And the callback to the present...
Yeah, not only we got the present, right, but not only do we get the present, the final scene calls back to their roof, their bridge thing in the first issue, which was a great moment. So not only is a great continuity there, sorry. Not only that, the whole thing makes the whole universe feel connected because she not only is in Japan, which she is in Batgirl issue 1, she even says that part of the inspiration for doing that trip in the first place was Nightwing saying he was going to Russia for a mission. And then she also says that she didn't mind leaving Gotham because she knew that the new Gotham twins were there and the Batwoman's boot camp was up and running. Look, in one panel, I was like, this is a world. This feels like it's a thing. Like, everything's connected.
And there weren't... They didn't feel compelled to add editors boxes to be like, well, check out Detective Comics for this. Check out.
Yeah, I don't think they needed to. I think that would have been too much, especially since you'd have like 3 of them.
Right, and that's what I'm saying is they're confident in the story they're telling, just to let it ride.
Yeah, no, I really like that. See, when I read that, I was like, oh man, this just all feels like it's all interlinked. It feels. And now we know this Nightwing story's set alongside Batgirl's first arc as well, whereas, Batgirl and the Birds of Prey set a bit later because it's after the first Batgirl arc. Like, you're building a bit of a timeline, you're seeing where things sort of slot in, and no, I really like that. Like, Dick and Babs and their, like, chemistry and the way they play off each other in this is great. It was great in the last issue, it's great in this issue, and... you feel a little bit sad at the end when Dick stands her up because he's got stuff to go do, and it's kind of upsetting.
Yeah, well, more like yes, he does kind of stand her up, but it's not like...
Yeah, no, he's not just been, a dick. But he's...
Yeah, it's very heartbreaking when you see him have to ignore that text.
He has to ignore the text because he has to prove himself to Raptor and do the job. And... But Babs is there in her date outfit, and she's like, I thought this was a date, which again, fantastic callback to that joke in the last issue.
Definitely.
So, I mean, I thought she was just a one-issue thing last time, but now that she's been in this one, and we've had this part, I don't necessarily need her in the next issue, but I feel like we have to follow up in this now. That there has to be, more to this, there has to be a conclusion.
Well, yeah, someone has to, because Batman's already made it known that he's going to be hands-off. So we kind of need someone that's going to be concerned, because I don't think Babs really knows what's going on, right?
We mean with Dick and Raptor and all that?
Well, with Dick working for the Parliament of Owls.
I can't remember if she said... I'd have to go back and look at the conversation from the last issue again to see what she knows exactly. But she knew it was dangerous, so I think she I would think she knows some of it. Maybe,
Well,
I don't know.
it adds, yeah. Well, it adds someone that is caring about what he's doing on a level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, it gives them a tie, which is nice because
Yep.
one of the problems with the New 52 is that everyone felt they lack supporting cast members. Like, there was no
Yep.
ties to anyone for a lot of the heroes. So it's nice that they have this, and again, like I say, that it's just such a fantastic callback to the last issue, and I'm invested in this. I care about them, care about these crazy kids. Dear. Otherwise, though, the issue featured sort of Nightwing trying to prove himself to Raptor. Raptor saying he can't do the thing. We also got big, the big fat woman
Yeah.
giving this weird
The
birth.
Cobra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Oh yeah. That was rough.
Which again,
But,
world building. Cobra was involved in Batman issue 1.
yep.
So, it all comes back. But, yeah, so Cobra was attacking a Parliament of All ship.
Filled with
Go on, say it.
oh, filled with refugees. They don't say from where, but basically the Parliament's going to ship them into Greece, where the Parliament's going to take over because of what's going on there. Which, see, this is how I feel like you tie it into the real world. Instead of throwing Obama in there as the president, talk about stuff like this, where the villain group wants to take over a country because it's vulnerable to be taken over. And they're going to turn it into their own, country, and these refugees are going to be the ones that build it.
Yeah. Which, of course, is a big problem for Dick to let that go, because, his refugees basically being kidnapped to go and do slave work.
Right.
Obviously, a big theme of this issue is that Raptor keeps talking about brands and, building an image of himself. And, it makes Dick sort of question, if he's an extension of Batman, and, the little girl when he picks her up in the ship, and she sees the blue Nightwing logo, and it instantly makes her feel a bit safer.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really interesting to explore this, and what does it mean to be Nightwing, and what does that symbol mean? Why do we have this? And of course, it's stuff we've kind of explored before in a way, but not in the sense of calling it a brand in the way that he talks about it, because he's obviously a mercenary who just gets paid for what he does. So it's,
but it is a marketing and a brand when you think about it. I mean, that's what Batman's about.
it is, but it's.
But not in the profiteering off of it way.
Yeah, well, because brand is a commercial thing, and
Right.
myth is what Batman deals in. He deals in the myth and the symbol of something.
Right.
So that it's similar to what a brand is, but there's a context to the way you say it, and brand is very specific. It's very cynical, and it's very, like I say, this guy does this for money. He gets paid for these jobs.
Right.
Whereas Nightwing does it because he believes it, because he thinks it's the right thing to do. And it's showing you the contrast between these two characters and how they're going to butt heads as they're working together as we go forward.
Yeah. Definitely.
But yeah, so but he basically taunts him into coming, whistling the tune again like he did earlier on in the issue.
Yeah.
And dares him to make a stand, which of course is why Dick leaves poor Barbara. I'll mention the art as well briefly. The book's pretty damn nice looking.
Yeah.
Really can't complain. Beautiful sunsets over Japan, and actually, is that Japan? I think they're about to meet somewhere else actually.
No, because that's where Batgirl is, right?
Yeah, but they said they were going to meet somewhere. It might have been outside of Japan actually.
It was in Japan because they said Hachiko Station.
Okay, fair enough. I'm just misremembering.
Yeah.
But no, Dick ignoring that text at the end. Oofed.
Yeah.
That hard.
Yep. And also, Raptor kind of revealing himself that there's more to him too. He's not just working for the Owls. So
Yeah.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Where do you think they're going with that?
What's that?
Where do you think they're going with that?
See, there's something familiar about him, so I don't know if they're going to reveal him to be someone that we've encountered before, or if just he's like a dark version of Nightwing, because that's what they were kind of hinting at, where Nightwing says that his fighting style has been called, like jazz, where Raptor is similar, but his is like a rap battle. It's way more aggressive. So, but yeah, it's just I think they're just showing the mirror and the dark mirror.
Yeah, because Raptor implies that he's actually intending on some way taking down the Parliament as well, but like you wouldn't think it from the way he acts.
Right.
But he's like, he tells Dick that no, there's going to be a lot more hard choices before we even get to that point, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe he'll be more, I don't know, sympathetic as we get along. Maybe we'll actually care about Raptor by the time, he has to leave or gets killed, or maybe he'll be a recurring supporting character.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it'll be interesting to see how they play that up. But no, that was
Definitely.
great. Nightwing issue 2 is great stuff. That'll take us on to Green Arrow issue 4, written by Benjamin Percy and drawn by Jean E. Ferreyra. What did you think of Green Arrow issue 4, Matt?
The art. We had that discussion last time we talked about Green Arrow, that it's not Otto Schmidt, but here I think it worked better.
Okay.
Than in the last issue, and I like where the story's going. Despite this is what Ben Percy did before, where it feels like a Grindhouse style movie, where things just happen for the easiness of the story. Like the whole Diggle thing. Like I thought that was a waste of pages. Like they could have handled Diggle's return to Arrow better, but
to Green Arrow.
It's Green Arrow.
Don't call it Arrow. No, we don't do that.
Sorry, Diggle, Arrow. My brain went to autopilot. But I do like the symmetry of that is where you get that super goofy thing with it looking like Diggle wants to kill Ollie. With the Diggle saying that Green Arrow is all of them. It's Ollie and Fife, and that whole crew.
Yeah, no,
So,
that stuff's fine. I wasn't overly keen on Diggle coming in. I did enjoy this show otherwise though. I thought the art is great. Him fighting the cops at the start was a lot of fun. One of the things I said I really liked about the art last time was the sense of motion, and I still think that's there. I really like that. They did have a nice standoff in the bridge before that, perceived attempted killing. And as you say, he gets the gang back together. Fife comes back on board. And
there's something about Fife that I don't know if they're setting him up for a turn, or if it really was just about the money.
I think that we may find out there's more to it, but I don't know if it's going to be a turn, because I feel like after Emmy, that'd be a really weird thing to do.
Yeah, but see, I still feel like Emmy's not fully turned either.
Yeah, but even if it turns out that she's not really turned, I still think it'd be weird to then do another turn with someone else.
Yeah, there's something off about Fife and his whole thing about money. So, but the Burning Man thing that had for me shades of Temple of Doom, with them dipping him in the lie, and threatening to do it to Canary.
Yeah, we should explain what that is. The Ninth Circle on the Inferno actually dip people into like a pit of boiling water or something to turn them into the Burning Men, which we've been
as they say, it cleanses them and adds them. So what they're doing is they're getting these homeless people, and the ones that aren't sold to the other people are brought in and turned into Burning Men, which is like the cult initiation, because they dip them in this boiling lye, and it cleanses them, and they become part of the group now, because they have nowhere else to go.
Do you know what page is really beautiful? See when they go to see Fife, and it's the light coming from outside through the blinds, and it's like the room's really blue because it's dark, but then all the orange street lights coming through, and it's all the lines of light as they're waking him up. That is a really nice page. Really nice couple of pages. Really,
that's what I was gonna say. I definitely noticed that the art took I was down on it last time, but took a step up for me because of stuff like that with the coloring, and that page with the standoff on the bridge looks great too, because it's Like it's symmetrical. I can't talk. With them standing there, each with a weapon in their hand. It looks real cool.
Yeah, no. Ollie being pissed that he finds out they've got Dinah. Fife, of course, is located where they are. He's got a smug look in his face as well when he realises he's done that. So our cliffhanger is Ollie and Diggle on a small boat heading towards Inferno. So nice big cliffhanger, and again, it's a really gorgeous last page. See that last page, the bottom image specifically of them, and just the waves and the harshness of the wind. You feel the rain, the motion, and all of it, and that's what I really love about this art. And whoever's doing the colouring as well is really good, because all that stuff with the blinds and the way it's playing with light is really good stuff. So I thought it was a solid issue. I thought it was continuing what Green Arrow's been doing pretty much since it started. So, Green Arrow, solid yet again. Alright, that'll take us on to sticking with some more green, as Green Lanterns issue 4, written by Sam Humphries and art by Robson, Rocha and Ed Beans. So, how did you feel about Green Lanterns issue 4, Matt?
So I feel like this is my guilty pleasure book, because I know it's not traditionally good, and it's very clunky, but for the character work Humphries is doing with these characters, I can't not love it. Because the stuff here with Simon and Jessica and their inner monologues as they're fighting each other, because Jessica, at the end of last issue, was consumed by rage. And they plummet into the Hell Tower, which of course doesn't go up, goes down, because it's boring into the earth. And when they land, Simon has like 2% battery left on his ring. And anyone who's had 2% left on their phone knows how dire that situation is, because it won't let him do anything. He tries to scan for the stuffed animal he's going to give his nephew.
Do you know what?
And it won't go.
Now that you've pointed that out, I just want to point out something myself.
Yeah.
Green Lantern got popular with Jeff Johns, right?
Yeah.
That also happened to coincide with the rise of phones out in the public and smartphones. It's almost as if that we could finally relate to the charging of a Green Lantern.
Yeah. Yeah, which, to me, if I was a Green Lantern, I'd never let my ring get below 50%. Except for, like, once a month when you just do that so it doesn't mess with the battery. Like my phone. But yeah, so they go down to the Hell Pit, and it's just basically the majority of the comic is them hashing out their issues with one another. Where Jessica thinks that Simon's too cocky, like he's big man on campus, and she's starting to go back into her self-doubt.
She also mentions that he has trust issues and brings up the gun. Like, you don't trust the ring, which is why you carry that. You have a big trust problem. Right. And I did like that he admitted internally a couple of times, wait, she's got me. Oh, wait, she's got me again, when she points things out. I did like that. I do think it was clunky, though. I do think... like, I don't know. It's kind of like Justice League, probably slightly under Justice League for me, where it's like I'm enjoying parts of this, but there's just like a sort of, I think Sam Humphries' dialogue occasionally just is a little bit off. Yeah, like he's trying to sound witty or smart and
he's trying too hard.
Yeah, and like, because like I like the scene of Bazzy's family like dealing with the Guardian. Some of it was legitimately pretty funny, but some of it was just like, oh, he's trying too hard to do the funny line here.
Yeah, it gets cringy. Like his family doesn't have to be comedians, because there's even a joke in there, like what passes for comedy in his family.
Yeah, that's true.
So like, but yeah, I like that, and I love this new Guardian and his whole deal, and he's floating. Given the kid, the nephew, there goes my dog leaving, because he has to make massive sounds every time he moves. But he's given the family like a brief history of himself, and how he's this rogue Guardian, and like the Guardians that founded the Corps threw him out, and they're too authoritarian for his liking. And I like that type of stuff, because that's the stuff that I did like that Johns touched on. was who are these guys that founded the police force of the universe, and why are they so trustworthy? So that sets some stuff up. But to see that image of them, of him floating the nephew with everything else in the house, I thought was pretty cool. And then it gets back into the Red Lantern stuff that we talked about that we don't like.
Ultron, Matt.
Oh.
Matt's Mike Adventures every week always leads to an Ultron moment.
Yep. After X amount of time.
Yeah.
But I was just saying that it goes into the Red Lantern stuff that we aren't enjoying. Although I'm pretty sure you were excited to see Dexter actually do stuff and not just snarl.
I'm all for seeing Dexter. Because, best Red Lantern. Now, yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was them. There was some nice stuff with them, like motivating each other, and like she's ready to give up, and he convinces her not to. Like that was good stuff. It was good, like team building sort of exercise, and that's what the whole issue was. And I typically like that stuff. And then obviously when they finally grab the lantern and say, right, let's do it, let's recharge. That's good. And it ends with the cliffhanger that they actually run into Atrocitus and the whole team of Red Lanterns. So next time they're going to actually fight, or at least discuss things with them.
Right.
Probably fight though.
Yep.
There'll be a lot of red and green in the page.
Not a Christmas special either.
Nah, not a Christmas special. Although they're doing a Halloween special of this, and
yeah, I'm very excited just based off of once we get past the Red Lantern stuff, and we'll still have to deal with Humphries' weird dialogue. But again, I'm really enjoying this book.
Yeah, no, I'm fine
for all its flaws.
I'm fine with it just now, because I do want to have a Green Lantern book. It'd feel weird not having one, especially when everything else I like's doing pretty well.
Yeah.
And I do like Jessica a lot, so no, I'm definitely with it for now. So, but no, that's Green Lanterns issue 4, and that'll take us on to Aquaman issue 4, the final book of the week.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see how we feel about this one, because we were kind of mixed on the last issue.
Yeah.
And I think this kind of carries over to this one, probably very consistently. There's good, there's bad. I would even say there's bad. There's good and there's mundane.
Yeah, I don't like the whole presidential thing, and them throwing him in jail. It's very undiplomatic. Because they just assume he had something to do with the attack on the ship.
Yeah, I like parts of it. I like the mystery of who did the attack, because no one in Atlantis can figure it out. Like, it wasn't us. We didn't order it. It wasn't
Yeah, what was cool is that there was a Atlantean sword left as almost like a message.
Yeah.
And the way that it was left, Merc and them were like, well, that's not consistent with what we do. So I like those aspects of it. But I thought the Mara stuff in this one was just weird. Like, I feel like Abnett's trying too hard to make her an ass kicker.
Well, I liked her breaking out at the end. Like, she'd had enough. I liked that part of it. But her on the phone in the the White House and like arguing with the press secretary, that stuff was kind of a little bit grating. Black Manta with what was her face? Blackjack? How would I say? No, it wasn't Blackjack.
I just didn't know that it's Nemo and we got their backstory.
Yeah, the lady from Nemo. She's it's something Jack something, I don't know.
Anyways,
but she's sort of making a sales pitch, and he's trying to find out what Nemo is.
Yeah, kind of like he has that attitude, like, you guys and your crazy organizations. I roll solo.
Yeah, basically Nemo's like this organization that's been around for like ever, but they've been in secret, but they're just about ready to make their play to like dominate the entire planet. But the one place they've not dealt with yet is Atlantis, so they're really interested in Aquaman.
You control the ocean, you control the world.
Yeah, except Aquaman controls the ocean, and he's having diplomatic disputes all over the place.
Exactly. So but no, I loved how dismissive Black Manta was of them, and but like for me, the stuff that I enjoyed more on this was the side stuff with Merc and them going, and the special forces team that goes down there to salvage. They have an altercation, so it looks bad on all sides. So it's setting up, this rat's nest of how are they going to deal with it.
Yeah, no, it's an okay issue. I feel like I enjoyed the arc that he did before Rebirth. Oddly enough,
Yep.
and I feel like I know he can do an enjoyable arc like that. So I'm looking forward to the next arc now, and I'm just kind of waiting for this one to be over.
Yeah, me too.
And it's not to say that it's like it's not unbearable. It's not bad even. It's just
There.
yeah, it's kind of there.
Yeah.
Eh,
So, but yeah, it's okay. I kind of I feel like we're spinning our wheels with Aquaman and
that's it.
Spindrift Station.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. It feels like we're spinning our wheels a little bit.
So, like I want to get back to Orm and that. Like you have this whole issue of a civil war within Atlantis, and you're telling me no one's gone up to get Orm?
Yeah, I either do that or give us a monster arc
Yeah,
where there's a kraken and Aquaman has to go deal with it. That's an arc. Do
yeah.
that. You
That
know,
wasn't that wasn't Jeff Parker's, right? The Karakin.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah,
But give us something like that. Give us
I
some
get what you
big
mean.
sea monster
Well,
starts attacking ships
yeah,
off the coast somewhere, and it's
yeah.
like Jaws, but on like a huge scale because he's Aquaman
Oh
and
my
he's got the whole
God.
ocean.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know.
Aquaman meets Jaws is something I definitely want to read.
Yeah, or even like Moby Dick, like he has to hunt, like he's like Aquaman's like, hunting the oceans for this one beast.
Yeah. Well, see, what got me was like in Cullen Buns, he was setting up such Lovecraftian stuff, and then it didn't go there. So I would love to see Aquaman deal with horror in that type, and they don't have to tease Cthulhu and whatnot, but just
Yeah.
something bigger that only he can kind of deal
Well,
with because it's his realm.
that was kind of what I really enjoyed about the arc before Rebirth was it was like about a monster who was like really scary because he could travel through water.
Yeah,
That was like the really scary part and it was fun.
yeah,
So I'm hoping it gets back to more fun stuff. I feel like the political thing is starting to
yeah,
just bog it down a little bit. So
definitely.
yeah, that's Aquaman issue 4. It's okay. You know,
Gotcha.
it's okay. All right, that's all 9 books this week then. So I guess that leaves just a couple of things. First of all, we were requested a couple of things this week to maybe possibly try doing on the show
Mm-hmm.
from our viewers, and the one that stood out to me was actually along with best book. Well, obviously we're doing like top 5 and
Right.
worst, but was to actually pick one best panel of the week.
Oh man.
Which it sounds tough, but it's not necessarily just about art. It's just about impact.
Right.
Like what, and I feel like we kind of touch on that a lot anyway. I think we've mentioned a few this episode, and for me, it's actually going to be a really simple one.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually, and again, it may not even be art. It may just be the dialogue. It may just be what was said in the panel. And it was one that I went on a lot about Nightwing. For me, I'm picking the one where Batgirl just flat out like establishes the entire world in Nightwing. Because
Yeah.
for me, that felt like really important because everything's felt connected anyway up until now. Like it's felt very like part of the same universe, but this was like the first time I feel like so much of it was just connected in a couple of lines of dialogue, where it, like at least the entire Bat family feels like they're in the same world, where everything is like interlinking and it's giving respect to each other because Detective Comics is the Gotham book, Batgirl's off in Japan, Nightwing's doing his thing with Raptor and Parliament Owls, and he's globetrotting with that. Everything just felt kind of nicely all linked up, and that was cool. It made me happy. And it was nice that it was Batgirl again in that book. Again, making it feel connected because she's not even the main character of that book. She's got her own book. she's off doing that.
Well, I like that. It makes her a supporting character, and you don't have to worry that she's being wasted because she has a whole book full of her own goings ons.
Exactly. As long as she doesn't do anything on any rooftops with people she shouldn't be, we're
Yes.
fine.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I've a feeling I have a slight guess as to what yours may be, but I will let
Yeah. But being on the spot, like had I known this going in, and I would looked actively, but I'm gonna have to go with from Superman, the double page, with
that was my guess. Let's be
yeah,
honest.
John and Clark double punching the Eradicator, because it looks so great, and it's them actively teaming up because he's in his full Superboy costume now,
Yeah.
Like, this is kind of the costume we saw with Super Sons. So.
Which, we didn't have news, but apparently Didio and maybe Johns, or was it Jim Lee? I don't know. But so Dan Didio and someone at a panel confirmed that Super Sons and JLA are coming in 2017. So don't look for them in the November and December solicits if you were keeping an eagle eye out.
Can't come quick enough. So,
you almost dropped a C-bomb there. That's what it sounded like. I
almost did. I'm tired.
And it was
it's still a surprise.
It clearly wasn't intentional because it made no sense in the context of the sentence. But still.
I didn't though. That's the important part.
That's a very angry man this morning. Apparently, he's dropping C-bombs left and right in places that don't make sense.
Not so much angry, just tired. It's been a long day.
So yeah, let's do our top fives then of the week.
Yeah.
So I'll jump in first. Now I don't have anything from Connor. I will be keeping track of what his number one pick was for our records, but he didn't have a chance to read all his books, as I said at the start of the show. So I'm just going to have to go with the two of us. So I'm going to jump in first. I am going to put, for the second week in a row, Nightwing has taken the top spot. Dick has come first twice.
God. You couldn't help yourself, could you?
For all the reasons stated, for the way the book is analysing the character, comparing him to Raptor. Raptor as a partner / antagonist is making him question himself and his own methods. The relationship with Barbara, the way that's linking together, and the way that's just really charming and giving the book a heart. Like there's like a real heart to it, which Dick has anyway. But the fact that we're getting that relationship is like means a lot to me. And then on top of that, the actual plot being a really good bit of self analysis for Dick is really, really cool. So, really great issue. And then in second place, probably go with Batman.
Okay.
And then Superman. And then in fourth place, I'd probably go with Justice League. And then in fifth place, Green Arrow. And that's your top five.
So. Yeah. So for mine, I'm gonna go with Superman. I love Bibbo, the Pa Kent scene, and the panel I just discussed.
Now I could check later, but just off the top of your head, is that 4 for 4 on Superman?
No, probably on the weeks at Superman.
Yeah, obviously action didn't always win, but Superman.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and then I'll go Nightwing, because for all the reasons that Pete said, because I'm enjoying Raptor as a foil for Dick. So, foil for Dick is such a weird sentence. And then I'll go Batman for the...
Three.
Trying to think of why it would be third, because it's just solid. Nothing pops up why it would be third besides it's just a good read. And I guess that's not a slight. You know what I mean?
Okay.
This came in third. And then I would love to shock everybody and say Harley. And watch Pete's face melt, but that'd be a lie.
Yeah, that's a lie.
That would be a lie. Man, this one's tough this week because again, everything was kind of at about the same level. So, man,
so much pondering over numbers 4 and 5.
It is because I know 5 is Green Lanterns. Just because it's Green Lanterns, it's so clunky. So I'll go Green Arrow then at number 4.
Right. Okay.
For the art and whatnot, and I almost forgot Green Arrow came out. My brain kept saying Detective Comics. I was like, that was last week. Brain.
Yes.
And that would have been up towards the top anyways because it's been so good.
Yes, last week and next week.
Yep.
And bottom place for me is obviously Harley. Like no. Instant drop. Struggled to get through it. No.
Yeah.
So.
Fair enough, man. Everyone has their taste, and that definitely. When I was reading Harley, I was definitely like, this is not the type of Pete's book.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All that leaves me to do is to tell you what's coming next week. And once again, we have more new books. We have 3 new books next week. We have All-Star Batman issue 1, we have Superwoman issue 1, and we have Deathstroke Rebirth issue 1. I am looking forward to 2 of those.
Yep.
We also have Action Comics 961, Detective Comics 938, The Flash issue 4, New Superman issue 2, Wonder Woman issue 4. Also, Connor on his own will be covering Red Hood and the Outlaws issue 1. And also coming next week, but I don't believe any of us are covering it, is Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps issue 2. I believe that was the first Universal drop from us last week. But I'll still let you know what all the books are coming out, though. Yeah, I'll always put them in the list at the end.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what's coming next week. Another big week. They're all big weeks now. There's so much that's launched, and they're all double shipping, most of them. So
yeah,
everything's a big week. But no, that brings an end to episode 11 of Comics from the Multiverse. We thank you very much for watching and or listening. We always do. Let us know what you think of the books in the comments below if you're on YouTube, or you can tweet at us at mailed_fuzz. Email is mailedfuzz@gmail.com and all that stuff. It helps us out a lot. Also, like and subscribe, all that jazz. As I said at the top of the show, over the Mailed Fuzz Movies YouTube channel, you can check out our Suicide Squad full spoiler review sometime on Sunday evening. Yeah, Matt's pointing to the annotation over there. Which, of course, if you're watching this before Sunday night, the link won't take you to Suicide Squad. It'll just take you to the channel because it doesn't exist yet. But you can also just check out our Batman v Superman review over there and various other things. But just warning, it will likely be a very negative review. Just a bit of a warning. That's all. Also, check out everything else we do. We do horror movie stuff over there. Also on the TV channel, which this is also on, you can get all of our weekly TV reviews and all that stuff. So yeah. That's all that. This has been episode 11 of Comics from the Multiverse, guys. My god, these are a marathon sometimes. That said, though,
they are.
I've noticed we're about 15-20 minutes shorter than last week, and I think that's just because there's not a third person giving his thoughts on everything as well.
Yeah.
So hey, so Comics from the Multiverse, guys. Yeah, I didn't even say that word. That was despicable. Matt's Terrence is running rough. Yeah, see, look, I couldn't even finish that sentence.
He's slowly becoming Plastic Man in front of our eyes.
I couldn't even finish that sentence. I was going to say Matt's tiredness is rubbing off on me, and it just completely went somewhere else.
Yep.
So I'm going to wrap this up before it completely self-detonates. Thank you for watching and or listening, guys. We will see you next time. Keep reading comics, and remember, never get lost in the Speed Force.
Long live the Legion.